Hey YouTube, Mike the Rinnai guy here. How are you all doing today? I hope we all had a safe and productive couple of weeks. Just a little explanation. I've had some dental surgery, so I could not speak from one weekend to another. So that's the reason that I could not do a video in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I was able to work, but I wasn't able to talk. Very little bit of talking I had to do. So, excuse me. But I'm doing well. Everything went fine. So, as you could tell, I'm back speaking. All right. I'd like to announce a pretty major milestone with the channel. The channel, as you know, has been around for a little over 3 years. And as a lot of you subscribers know, I have helped you, I've spoken with you, I've sized your units, I've helped you pipe the units, I've sent you piping diagrams, and a lot of you I've helped with heat exchangers or water servo valves, whatever. And I keep track of what the channel sells. Now, this is all over the world. This is people I communicate with and or speak to. Over the, out of the country, it's communication through email. But a lot of you, I've spoken to you personally. Well, I did some math the week of Thanksgiving, and I hope you all had a very happy, healthy, and you ate good for your Thanksgiving. So I did a little research in the channel because I knew I was closing on a specific number figure. And I did the math that, we were off for the 4 days, and I did the math, and as of a week better ago, or 2 weeks ago, or last week, excuse me, the channel has sold $1 million in Rinnai product. Most of them are tankless heaters, but heat exchangers and fans and PC boards, stuff like that. I do keep track. I keep a book where I actually tally keep by month of what people have either told me they put in, or I helped them put in, or they just message me, hey, because of your channel I installed a Rinnai, and I keep track of it. And the channel has sold over $1 million worth of product, so I think that's really good, for pretty much a lookup channel. So that said, today, we are going to go over Rinnai's dedicated recirculation valve kit, okay? Or as they call it, the DRV. Basically, it is, and I'm going to take this off the demo here. Basically, it comes with a new cold water valve assembly, so your on-off valve, your flush port, but it also comes with this piece here that has a built-in check valve and a drain. So it has a valve and then a drain port. Comes in this nice little box. And again, here, I'll show you the number. Take a little screenshot of that. But it will be in the description below. There's your number. It comes with your instruction sheet. So you're replacing, now, if you're using this on an RUR, which has the circulating pump built in, you can use it on RU, but you're going to, if you're doing it under a new installation, you're not going to install the cold water inlet that comes with the tankless. So inside of the, let's just say we're going to do an RUR, because we don't have a circulating pump yet. So we have an RUR, whatever, interior, exterior, propane, natural. So as you can see, it's substantially bigger. So you're going to just put this on the side. You're going to have the new inlet with your flush port. So you have your cold water that comes in. Then you're going to put a check valve. Remember, spring-loaded check valve. Spring-loaded check valve only. No clapper valves. And I always put my arrows on the check valve so I know, and I put them on in the truck. They're in the truck. They're on. We buy them. We put the arrows on them. Whether you use a shark bite one, or in this case, this is a Combraco, where you're going to have to make up adapters. We put arrows on them. So when we take them out, and they're on two sides, so no matter which way they go, we know the arrow in what direction. Cold water in from the street, arrow up the check valve into the tankless heater, then back out to your hot water to the building. Now you have a recirc line. Very simple. You're just going to take this recirc line. Now, if you were doing this as a, let me just grab a feel. If you were doing this as without this, you would be cutting a T into the cold water line above this check valve. Because this check valve and this check valve here prevents the recirc water, which is being pulled back by the pump of the RUR, to prevent it from backing down into the cold water. And this check valve, which is right here, and again, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to bring it to the camera, you're going to see it, prevents the cold water from backing up into the recirc line. So you would have a T above it. Now, what this does is it takes away having that second check valve and that T. So it does enhance the installation greatly by having this unit. And again, the pricing, everything will be below in the description. But in the instruction manual, which I find, and I use this extensively. In the instruction sheet, it shows you that it screws directly onto the cold water inlet. So that cast T, this new piece, okay, it has a little union end, it has the valve, the drain, and then a male end that screws into an embossed T right here. But you need to be able to isolate the tankless, the water coming in from the water coming back from this, so to bleed this properly. Because what's happening is water will come in, go into the tankless, out of the tankless, into the hot water line, through the system to the last fixture, and come back here and go back. You need to shut water off between the cold water flush valve kit and this check valve here. Because remember, this check valve is pushing in this way. This check valve is pushing in this way. So just remember, if you're going to do it with two check valves, both arrows of both check valves are facing the tankless. All right? So what we decided to do is, let me just unlock these wheels here so I can spin this around. My new display boards I built. We added a valve here. This is a 3/4 IPS thread, female. This is a 3/4 IPS thread, male. We added this valve. So right now, what we could do is fill the system, leave this valve off, unscrew this, and turn this valve on, hose, outside, bucket, whatever. And now you're bleeding through the hot water, through the system, back to return, and out here. It will not, no water will come back this way. So it's basically what you're doing with a loop system on a heating system, a loop hot water heating system. You're isolating the boiler and letting the water fill through the main and come back to return. You're bleeding all the air out of it. By having this made up into this, you're preventing that from happening. Now, I had a couple of guys that I taught when I trained this, when I do the training. They said, well, just put another valve in a bleeder. Why? Why do you need to put another valve in a bleeder over here? when you have this, all you have to do is add that valve right there. Now, what we do, now I know that I threw this together with pipe I have laying around in fittings. What we do is we put a brass nipple and elbow, we angle this over so it's down here, and then we make our valve right here, and then screw this in. Because it doesn't matter horizontal or vertical. A spring-loaded check valve will work in the horizontal and vertical position. So it don't matter how you put it in. So we actually tuck this all back here so that everything is pretty much in a line. But that's pretty much the added to the instruction sheet is add a valve here. By adding that valve, you're going to isolate the water that's coming in from the street from the water coming back from the return line. So now, let me just get this back into position here without killing myself. So now remember, when you get the RUR unit, you're going to get the thermal bypass valve. You're not going to need this. This is only if you do not have a dedicated line. So, save it for a future date, save it for a neighbor that may need one. But that's the what's going to come with the RUR, but you're not going to need this, so you're going to discard it. Or whatever, put it to the side. And you are going to leave the factory installed plug in the hot water side, because if you use the thermal bypass, it's going to come with a filter. And that filter has to be swapped out. The plug has to be swapped out to the filter if you're using it. So if you got this dedicated recirc line, you're not going to touch anything right where the hot water goes in, comes out of the bottom of the tankless. There's another one of those plugs, almost looks like the filter. You're going to swap that out for the screen if you're using the thermal bypass valve. So now, on an RUR or an RU unit, you're going to have a separate relief valve. You have the separate relief valve that's going to be mounted in between. So you do not have that relief valve like on our other units that comes off of the hot water side. On an RU unit or an RUR or the Sensei, you have that separate relief valve. Now, bear in mind that in this relief valve, that's the reason that there is tape and a plastic cap, because you got to watch not to lose this O-ring. Because I've had a couple of questions the past month or two about they put the relief valve in and it's leaking. And I asked them, did you lose or drop the washer? And a couple of guys looked down and sure it was. There it was on the floor. So you got to be very careful not to lose this. Don't take it even out of the bubble wrap. We don't until we're ready to put it together. Because then you won't lose it. It'll be all there for you in one shot. So let's take this apart and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. All right, so here is the actual recirc part. You see there's the check valve right there. And then you have your flush port or your drain port. See, that's off. There's on. See, you can't see through it. Comes with the same style cap like you have on the flush port. And then your let me get this off here. Come on. Thing wants to be a booger. All right, she don't want to come off, but we're going to get her off. Borrowing this blue thing, I'll take off the female male adapter. And this is what you're getting. So the instruction sheet tells you just to mate these together. But again, you need that valve there, or you're not going to get the proper flush of the system. And then the actual piece, I'll show you up close here. See, it's a noticeable difference. This, if you look at the other valve kits, the ones for the RL, this is what the hot water looks like. It's like a hot water one, and they just swapped out the handles to blue, because that's where the relief valve would go, right there. So if we look at this here, there's a washer in there, and this, it's a union half. So if you have to disconnect it, they give you, and it's IPS, and it's the washer seal, and it all gets mated up into that box. And I use just a regular Apollo ball valve, stainless steel, brass with stainless steel inside. All right, so, and then the actual, I'll just quickly show you the check valves. And these are my demo check valves. See, I use Combraco spring-loaded check valves. I just use these for my demo purposes for the videos. But that's what that is. That's all that is for a check valve. All right. Again, everything will be in the description below. Part number, price, and pretty much Rinnai sells it, or the you can get it from like supplyhouse.com or your local supply house. Alrighty, let me just show for those of you, because I know I've gotten a lot of requests for this, and that is the cold water inlet filter tool. So this is the removal tool that will remove the cold water inlet filter. Alright, we have them. If you're in the continental United States, it's $30, and that's including the shipping to you. You can email me your info. I'll email you back with a Venmo, or you could just mail a check, and I'll ship one of these out to you. But it is a great tool. It's a machine that was done by a Mr. Dick Wood, one of my subscribers. He was the actual inventor of it, and he sent them to me so I can sell them for him. And for those of you that didn't watch my past 2 other videos, we have used this now for probably 4 months, and it has worked flawlessly. So basically it just goes in, it grabs those ears, which would break off. Of course, if it's an outdoor unit, you have to clean out, if you like here with dirt daubers. It fits right in, and it takes the tool right out with a socket. We use, I think it's a 9/16 socket, an extension, and the 3/8 ratchet. And that's the tool. It is a cold water inlet filter removal tool. And this is the one off my truck. And since I'm on topic of the filters, so I do get a lot of questions about this when they're going to buy filters. Rinnai makes 2 different filters, and I keep touching on this because it's very important. They make this white filter. This white filter is in every single tankless, from a V to an RL to an RU, an RUR, a CU, and a CHS demand duo. And then they make this red filter. As you can see in the 2 filters, one has much larger screening than the other. This filter is to be used only on Rinnai's CHS 199 demand duo. That is the commercial tankless heater. It's a 119 or an 80-gallon tank with either an RLR or a CU tankless mated to it. because it circulates through the tank, through the tankless, and the circulator that's built into the unit clogs these filters up very fast. So we put these in. These are not to be used on any other tankless but a CHS 199. So just remember, when you're buying the filter, it needs to be the white one, okay? And that is it. That should be it. All right, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I did. Yeah, we just installing one of these one day. I'm just looking at this thing and I'm like, we got to get a valve in here. And so that's what we've been doing, and it's been working flawlessly for us. All right, YouTube. Again, everything will be in the description below. If you're within the continental United States, it's $30. That's including shipping. And just email me, because my email will be in the description below. Just email me your mailing address, your name and your mailing address, and I will email you the Venmo, who it goes to my wife, or I'll email you my mailing address and you can just mail me a check. All right? All right, YouTube. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I am, again, beside myself we're just very close to 10,000 subscribers, and for a lookup channel, I'm told that's very good. So, I'm humbled by it. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm glad I can help so many people. Alrighty. You all be safe out there, and enjoy your endless hot water, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.